In 1985, a farmer could rebuild his tractor engine in his barn with a Chilton manual and a socket set. In 2024, that same farmer needs a $15,000 dealer diagnostic tool just to reset a check engine light. The tractor costs more, it does the same job, but he no longer owns it. That $15,000 diagnostic tool exists because manufacturers discovered something. Farmers will pay anything when their livelihoods sit idle, but here is what the equipment lobby does not advertise. A small group of operators figured out the loophole years ago. They are not fighting the system, they are buying around it entirely, and they are acquiring machines that no software update can touch, no dealer can lock out, and no circuit board can disable. Today I am revealing the only 3 tractors left that you can actually fix yourself. Modern agricultural equipment runs on HEUI injectors controlled by CMS that talk to satellites, require firmware subscriptions, and report your GPS coordinates to corporate servers in real time. You do not own the software, you license it, and that license includes a clause stating that unauthorized repair attempts void your warranty and potentially violate federal copyright law under DMCA Section 1201. I want you to understand what that means in practical terms. The tractor in your barn contains computers that actively prevent you from servicing it. Not because the repair is dangerous, not because you lack the skill, because a corporation in Illinois decided your mechanical competence threatens their service revenue. Meanwhile, equipment that rolled off assembly lines before 1995 sits in barns across rural America, running on nothing but diesel, cast iron, and owner knowledge. No telematics, no proprietary diagnostic ports, no dealer authorization required to change a fuel pump. These machines operate on principles that predate corporate digital control entirely. The farmers buying these older tractors are not nostalgic hobbyists. They are strategists who understand that when the grid fails, when the dealer network collapses, when supply chains fracture under pressure, only purely mechanical equipment will still function. And the supply of these machines is finite, shrinking every year as they are scrapped, parted out, or snatched up by people who see what is coming. What follows are 3 specific tractors that remain completely owner serviceable. If you are serious about operational independence, about never asking permission to fix your own equipment, pay attention to these exact models. That brings us to number 3 on this list, and it is a machine most people drive past at farm auctions without a second glance. The Ford 5000 series, manufactured between 1965 and 1976, represents one of the last truly mechanical utility tractors ever mass-produced. It has a 233 cubic inch inline 4-cylinder diesel engine with direct injection, no electronics whatsoever, and a parts ecosystem that still exists 50 years later because Ford built over 140,000 of these units. What makes this tractor special is the injection pump, a CAV rotary unit, completely rebuildable with hand tools and a timing gauge. No scan tool required. The hydraulic system runs on a simple gear pump with external lines you can trace visually. Every gasket, every bearing, every seal is available from multiple aftermarket suppliers because the 5000 shared components with Ford's industrial and automotive divisions for decades. Let me know in the comments if you have worked on one of these. If you have, you already know the secret. This tractor was designed when engineers assumed owners would perform their own maintenance. The shop manual reads like a conversation, not a legal disclaimer, walking you through complete engine overhauls with nothing more than basic metric and standard tools. Horsepower is between 55 and 65 depending on the variant. That is plenty for hay operations, food plots, property maintenance, and light tillage. The 8-speed transmission is simple, using sliding gears instead of synchros, so rebuilds cost hundreds rather than thousands. I know what is happening in the comments. Some people will bring up parts availability or the lack of modern convenience features. Convenience requires infrastructure. When that infrastructure disappears, a convenient tractor becomes a lawn ornament, while the Ford 5000 will keep running on vegetable oil if necessary. If you find a Ford 5000 with solid sheet metal and an engine that does not smoke blue, buy it before someone else does. These machines are disappearing from the market faster than most people realize, and their prices reflect it. Now we escalate to something considerably more serious. The International Harvester 1066, produced from 1971 to 1976, earned its reputation in conditions that would destroy lesser equipment. This is a 414 cubic inch inline 6-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine, producing 125 horsepower, driving a drivetrain engineered for continuous heavy draft work. Farmers called it the red tractor that wouldn't quit, and the name stuck for reasons that matter today more than ever. What separates this machine from modern equipment is not just the absence of electronics. It is the presence of overbuilt mechanical systems, designed before planned obsolescence became corporate strategy. The engine block is cast iron, thick enough to survive a direct EMP strike, not because International Harvester planned for electromagnetic warfare, but because 1970s metallurgy favored durability over weight savings. Parts availability borders on absurd. Chute Manufacturing, Abilene Machine, and half a dozen other suppliers stock everything from crankshafts to cab glass. The injection system uses a Bosch P-pump with individual mechanical injectors that you can remove, test, and rebuild on a workbench with a $200 pop tester. No laptop required, no dealer authentication, no subscription fees. The hydraulic system runs on a gear pump and simple spool valves that any competent operator can diagnose by feel and sound alone. When something fails, and eventually everything mechanical fails, you identify the problem, order the part, and install it yourself within the same week, instead of waiting for corporate permission. Government-proof simplicity is not just a talking point here. During the 1970s fuel crisis, these tractors ran on heating oil, waste motor oil blends, and whatever combustible liquid desperate farmers could acquire. The mechanical fuel system does not care about fuel certifications or sensor requirements. Combustion happens through heat and compression, full stop. For anyone building genuine long-term self-sufficiency, the 1066 offers row crop capability, serious drawbar horsepower, and complete independence from dealer networks. The tractor does exactly what you command, without requesting authorization from a server farm in another state. That alone makes it worth hunting down. Finally, we reach the machine that serious operators acquire when they are done playing around. The John Deere 4440, built from 1978 to 1982, sits at the top of this list because it combines everything: power, reliability, parts availability, and mechanical simplicity into a package that preppers and working farmers consider the gold standard for grid-down agriculture. Under the hood sits a 466 cubic inch inline 6-cylinder diesel producing 130 horsepower through a naturally aspirated configuration that laughs at altitude changes and fuel quality variations. The engine architecture is pre-electronic in every sense, with a mechanical governor, a Stanadyne DB4 rotary injection pump, a glow plug starting system, and absolutely zero sensors reporting to anything except your eyes and ears. Here's the specification that matters most. The 440 power shift transmission uses hydraulic clutch packs controlled entirely by mechanical valving. Shift quality depends on proper oil level and linkage adjustment, both serviceable in a barn with a drain pan and basic hand tools. Compare that to modern power shift units requiring proprietary software calibration after every clutch pack replacement. The frame rails are structural I-beams supporting a front axle rated far beyond typical agricultural loads. Drawbar pull approaches 12,000 pounds in optimal conditions, enough to handle any implement a survival farm would realistically operate. I want to be direct about why this specific tractor dominates prepper equipment discussions. The 4440 represents the absolute peak of mechanical agricultural engineering before electronics invaded the platform. The subsequent 4450 introduced early computerization. Every model after that added more digital dependency, more dealer locks, more points of failure that owners cannot address independently. When the systems that modern agriculture depends upon finally fracture, and the trajectory suggests not if, owners of purely mechanical equipment will continue producing food while their neighbors sit idle waiting for technicians who are not coming. The 4440 is rapidly disappearing from the secondary market. Well-maintained examples now command premiums that would have seemed absurd 10 years ago, because a growing number of Americans understand what this machine actually represents: freedom from permission-based repair and guaranteed operational capability regardless of what happens beyond the property line. These three tractors are not just machines. They are declarations of independence from a system designed to make farmers dependent on dealer networks and corporate authorization. The Ford 5000, the International 1066, and the John Deere 4440 represent mechanical engineering from an era when equipment belonged to the people who bought it. That era is over, but the machines still exist for now. If this information matters to you, subscribe and tell me in the comments which tractor you are hunting for. The window to acquire these machines is closing faster than most people realize.